Hey, so tonight we're going to talk about a place you probably picture with marble temples and epic speeches, ancient Athens. But forget the glorious Parthenon for a moment. Forget the heroes and philosophers you learned about. We're going to strip away the myths and dive into the grind, the sweat, and the sheer monotony of everyday existence for the vast majority of people living there. It wasn't always a grand stage, you know, before we journey back to that dusty, crowded city. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and tell me where you're listening from and what time it is for you. All right, now, find that cozy spot, pull your blanket up high, and let's leave your quiet, comfortable world behind for a while. The first tendrils of consciousness, heavy and reluctant, begin to tug at the edges of your sleep-addled mind. You don't wake to the insistent chirping of a digital alarm, nor the gentle, filtered light of a modern window. No, your awakening is a slow, grudging ascent from the depths of a rest that feels more like a heavy stupor than true refreshment. A sleep earned through sheer physical exhaustion rather than luxurious comfort. Your body, accustomed to the rough, unyielding surface beneath it, still protests with a dull ache in your back and shoulders. You're lying not on a plush memory foam mattress, but on a woven mat, perhaps stuffed with straw or dried leaves, laid directly on the hard-packed earth floor of your cramped Athenian dwelling. The straw rustles faintly as you shift, a dry, brittle sound that is one of the first indicators of the day's relentless start. The air around you is thick, heavy with the scent of stale charcoal from yesterday's cooking fire, the faint, acrid tang of human waste from the chamber pot in the corner, and the unmistakable, cloying sweetness of unwashed bodies. You breathe it in, a familiar cocktail of odors that defines your home, your immediate world. There's no fresh linen smell here, no crisp, cool air circulating from an open window. The tiny aperture high in the wall, perhaps a single unglazed opening meant more for ventilation than light, offers only a weak, dusty sliver of grey. It's not the bright, inviting sun, you know. It's a muted, hesitant promise of the oppressive heat to come, barely penetrating the gloom of your small, windowless sleeping chamber. You become aware of the sounds first, not the gentle hum of a refrigerator or the distant drone of traffic, but the much older, more primal symphony of a waking city. A rooster crows, close by and piercing, tearing the remnants of sleep from your ears. Then another, farther off, a ragged chorus of feathered alarm clocks. You hear the rustle of straw from your wife's sleeping mat beside you, perhaps a low moan as she, too, stirs. From the adjoining room, the soft, rhythmic breathing of your children, still deep in their slumber, is a momentary comfort, a fleeting whisper of peace before the daily clamor begins. But even as you lie there, suspended between dream and reality, the sounds of your household slaves are already starting. The clink of a clay pot, the soft shuffle of bare feet on the packed earth, the murmur of hushed voices. They are already up, already working, their day an hour or more ahead of yours, their servitude a constant, grinding engine of your modest comfort. Your eyes, now fully open, struggle to adjust to the pervasive dimness. The walls of your room are unplastered, rough-hewn mud, brick, or wattle and daub, a dull, earthy brown that absorbs any scant light. Cobwebs, thick and grey with dust, cling to the rafters above, testament to the ceaseless battle against nature's persistent reclaim. There's no painted ceiling, no ornate decoration, just the bare, functional structure of your existence. You feel the grit of the earth on your bare arms, transferred from your rough sleeping mat, a constant companion in your daily life. Cleanliness, as you understand it, is a luxury reserved for the gods and the impossibly wealthy, and even then, it's a different brand of clean altogether. The desire to remain cocooned in the fleeting warmth of your rough woolen blanket is strong. Your muscles ache, your joints feel stiff, a consequence of your diet and the unrelenting physical demands of life. There's no soft duvet here, no silky sheets to cling to. It's a single, heavy woolen cloth, scratchy against your skin, offering more weight than softness. You push it back, slowly, revealing your simple chiton, the tunic you likely slept in, now rumpled and clinging. There's no fresh change of clothes awaiting you, no closet filled with options. This, or another much like it, will be your garment for the day, and probably for several days more, until it's deemed sufficiently dirty to warrant a trip to the communal washing trough. A chore that is itself a significant undertaking, not a simple load tossed into a machine. The first task of your conscious day is to stretch. You reach your arms above your head, feeling the satisfying crack of your spine, the protest of tight muscles. You bring your knees to your chest, trying to coax some flexibility back into your limbs. It's an instinctive, almost animalistic movement, a preparation for the physical demands that will begin moments from now and won't cease until late evening. There's no gentle transition into your day, no leisurely coffee and newspaper. The moment your eyes open, the day's work begins, if only in your mind. As you mentally catalogue the tasks awaiting you, the endless procession of duties that comprise your existence. You swing your legs over the side of your mat, your bare feet meeting the cool, dusty earth floor. The sensation is immediate and grounding. No slippers, no soft carpet, just the raw connection to the ground that supports your home. You stand, slowly, feeling the blood rush to your head, a momentary dizziness. Your height is perhaps a little shorter than modern expectations. Your build lean from constant activity. You stand amidst the muted sounds of your awakening home. A low cough from a slave in the kitchen, the distant bleating of a goat, the incessant buzzing of flies that are already finding their way into the house despite the cool morning air. Your morning ablutions are brief and rudimentary. There's no running water, no porcelain sink, no hot shower. You make your way to a corner of the main room where a large amphora of water sits, collected yesterday from the public fountain. You pour a small amount into a shallow basin, the water cool against your skin. You splash it on your face, feeling the immediate sting, the dust and grime of sleep washing away, leaving a momentarily refreshed, if not truly clean, sensation. Your hands rub at your eyes, clear the sleep from them, and then you quickly run them through your hair, attempting to tame its unruly state without the aid of comb or brush, unless you're a man of some means. For you, it's fingers, a quick pat, and you're done. There's no elaborate skincare routine, no carefully applied makeup. Your appearance is functional, not aesthetic. Dental hygiene. Perhaps you'll chew on a twig or rub your teeth with a rough cloth if you're particularly fastidious. But for most, it's an afterthought, a luxury. The sour taste in your mouth is a constant companion, testament to yesterday's meal and the lack of proper cleaning. As you step out of your sleeping alcove, the light in the main room is a little brighter, though still dim by modern standards. The central hearth, a simple fire pit on the floor, is still cold, but the pungent smell of wood smoke lingers, testament to last night's cooking and heating efforts. Your wife is already up, perhaps tending to the youngest child, or overseeing a slave as they begin preparing the morning meal. There's no quiet moment of solitude, no personal space to gather your thoughts. Your life is lived in close quarters, always aware of others, always observed, always part of the collective rhythm of the household. The air, though marginally fresher than your sleeping chamber, still carries the accumulated smells of the house, stale food, unwashed bodies, the ever-present dust. Your morning meal is simple, austere. Forget the lavish breakfast buffets, or the hurried coffee and pastry you might be used to. Here, it's a bowl of barley porridge, perhaps mixed with water or a little goat's milk if you're fortunate. There might be a handful of olives, or a piece of dry bread dipped in olive oil, its flavor earthy and strong. There's no sugar, no butter, no eggs scrambled with bacon. It's fuel, pure and unadorned, designed to provide the energy needed for the day's relentless labor. You eat quickly, probably standing or sitting on a low stool, your fingers scooping the thick gruel into your mouth. The texture is coarse, the taste bland, but it fills your belly, quelling the gnawing hunger that has been your companion since the previous night. The conversation, if any, is minimal, focused on the day's tasks, the children's needs, the mundane realities of your existence. There's no news to discuss, no social media to scroll through. Your world is local, immediate, and utterly pragmatic. As you finish your meager meal, a sudden warmth radiates from the central hearth. A slave, or perhaps your wife, has rekindled the embers, coaxing a new flame to life with a puff of breath and the addition of dried kindling. The smoke, initially acrid and biting, begins to rise, curling towards the opening in the roof that serves as your rudimentary chimney. A simple hole that often lets in as much rain as it lets out smoke. The warmth is welcome in the still cool morning air, but the smoke inevitably fills the room, stinging your eyes and catching in your throat. This is the trade-off, the constant presence of smoke, the slight cough that becomes a part of your daily rhythm. Your clothing for the day is the same chiton you wore yesterday, perhaps a slightly cleaner one if you have to. It's a simple, unadorned tunic, typically made of wool or linen, cut for practicality, not fashion. It falls to your knees if you're a man, to your ankles if you're a woman. Over it, for cooler mornings or for venturing outside, you might drape a himation, a heavier cloak, which you will wrap around your body in various practical ways. There are no zippers, no buttons, no elaborate fasteners, just simple pins or ties. The fabric is rough against your skin, a constant reminder of its natural origin. You don't think about matching colors or coordinating accessories. You think about warmth, protection from the elements, and utility. Your shoes, if you wear any at all, are simple leather sandals, offering minimal protection from the dusty, uneven ground. More often than not, you go barefoot within the house, feeling the cool earth beneath your soles. The sun is beginning to climb higher now, its light intensifying, though still filtered by the narrow streets and the close-packed buildings of your neighborhood. You can hear the city waking up more fully, the shouts of vendors hawking their wares, the braying of donkeys laden with goods, the distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer, the incessant chatter of voices rising from the narrow lanes. It's a cacophony, a constant background hum of human and animal activity that penetrates every corner of your home, blurring the line between public and private space. There's no soundproofing here, no quiet retreat. Life is lived openly, loudly, always in the presence of others. You take a moment, a brief, fleeting pause, before stepping out of the relative gloom of your home and into the burgeoning chaos of the day. You might offer a quick, silent prayer to Hestia, goddess of the hearth, for protection and good fortune, or simply gather your resolve. The world outside beckons, demanding your attention, your labor, your participation. There's no escaping the routine, no opting out. You are a cog in a much larger machine, a small but essential part of the grand, dusty, vibrant, and ultimately monotonous tapestry of ancient Athenian life. You adjust your chiton, take a deep breath, and prepare to face the day, knowing that its demands will be unrelenting, its rewards meek, and its rhythm as predictable as the rising and setting of the sun itself. This is your life, a cycle of toil, sustenance, and fleeting moments of respite, played out against the backdrop of a city that, for all its philosophical grandeur, is ultimately built on the hard-won efforts of people just like you. The scent of dust, smoke, and humanity is your constant companion. The texture of rough fabric against your skin is a perpetual reminder of your station, and the endless demand for physical exertion is the undeniable truth of your existence. You step out, the harsh light momentarily blinding you, and the boring routine truly begins. You are a part of it, irrevocably, utterly, and without question. The threshold of your home is not just a physical barrier, but a symbolic one, delineating the private realm of the asterisk oikos, asterisk the household, from the public sphere of the asterisk polis asterisk. As you step out into the courtyard, or perhaps directly onto the narrow, unpaved street, you are immediately enveloped by the pervasive dust that is the very breath of Athens. It coats everything: the rough walls of the houses, the leaves of the sparse olive trees, the goods displayed by street vendors. It settles on your chiton, on your hair, becomes a fine layer on your skin, a constant, gritty reminder of the arid landscape and the unpaved nature of your world. You taste it faintly on your tongue, a dry, earthy flavor that never truly leaves. This isn't the clean, managed dust of a modern city, but the raw, elemental dust of sun-baked earth and unceasing human activity. For the men of Athens, once the morning's minimal rituals are complete, the day's work begins in earnest. For you, a citizen of modest means, your labor might take many forms. Perhaps you are a craftsman, a potter whose hands will spend the day shaping clay on a slow-turning wheel, enduring the dry, chalky feel of the earth as it transforms under your touch. You'll be hunched over, your back aching, your eyes straining in the dim light of your workshop, the air thick with the smell of wet clay and the faint, metallic temps of tools, the rhythmic asterisk, thwack asterisk of the clay being centered, the gentle asterisk or asterisk of the wheel, the soft asterisk squelch asterisk as you pull the clay upwards. These are the sounds that will accompany your day. A monotonous but deeply satisfying symphony of creation. Though the creation itself is often repetitive, producing endless amphory bowls, or plates that differ only in the slightest nuances. Or perhaps you are a farmer, owning a small plot of land outside the city walls. This means a long walk, your sandals kicking up plumes of dust, the sun already beating down with oppressive intent as you trek towards your fields. Your tools are simple: a wooden plough, an ox or a donkey to pull it, a scythe, a hoe. The earth is stubborn, rocky, and demands immense physical effort. You feel the strain in your shoulders, your arms, your lower back as you guide the plough, breaking new furrows in the dry soil. The sweat begins to prickle your skin almost immediately, running in rivulets down your temples, soaking your thin chiton. creating dark patches under your arms. The smell of turned earth, dry and mineral-rich, mingles with the scent of your own exertion, a primal aroma of labor. Your hands, already calloused and rough, will grow more so, developing a thick, protective layer against the constant friction of wood and stone. The sun beats down mercilessly, its heat a palpable weight on your head and shoulders, causing shimmering distortions in the air above the dry fields. You squint against the glare, your eyes constantly scanning for signs of pestilence, drought, or blight, the ever-present threats to your livelihood. The silence, broken only by the chirping of cicadas and the occasional lowing of your animal, is a stark contrast to the city's clamor, but it is a demanding silence, a silence filled with the urgent whisper of survival. Maybe you are a stonecutter, working on one of the many public buildings that dot the Athenian landscape, perhaps even contributing to the repairs or additions to the mighty Parthenon. Though that is a grander dream, your day is filled with the deafening clang of hammer meeting chisel, the shower of stone dust that coats your entire body, settling into your hair, your eyelashes, coating the inside of your nostrils. The air vibrates with the percussive rhythm of dozens of hammers, a constant headache-inducing roar. You smell the raw mineral scent of freshly cut marble, a surprisingly sweet and clean smell amidst the sweat and dust. Your muscles scream in protest as you heave heavy blocks, maneuver them into place, or meticulously chip away at stubborn rock, trying to create the smooth, precise lines demanded by the master architect. Your hands are raw, your fingernails chipped and broken, your skin perpetually stained with the fine white powder of your trade. The danger is constant, a slipping chisel, a falling stone, the sheer exhaustion that could lead to a fatal misstep. Your focus is absolute, unwavering, a deep concentration born of necessity and the high stakes of your craft. For the women, your world is largely confined to the oikos. As the day progresses, your tasks are no less demanding, though they differ in nature. Your domain is the household, its smooth functioning entirely dependent on your diligence and management. You are the orchestrator of daily life, the unseen engine of the family's survival and comfort. After the men have departed, your day begins with managing the domestic slaves, if you are fortunate enough to have them, or directly performing the myriad chores yourself. First, the cooking fire. It must be carefully tended, the embers from the morning meal nursed back to life with kindling and breath, the smoke curling up towards the opium in the roof. The smell of wood smoke will be a constant, comforting, yet irritating presence throughout your day, stinging your eyes, clinging to your clothes. You'll spend hours preparing the family's meals, often barley-based porridges, breads, lentils, and vegetables, with meat being a rare luxury. This involves grinding grains on a heavy corn, a back-breaking, repetitive task that strains your arms and shoulders, the gritty flour coating your hands and clothing. You feel the rough stone against your palms, the rhythmic scrape crunch as the grains are slowly pulverized. The preparation of vegetables means hours of cleaning, chopping, and soaking, often using dull bronze knives that require more effort than precision. The pungent smell of onions, the earthy aroma of root vegetables, the fresh scent of herbs, these fill the air of your modest kitchen, mingling with the ever-present wood smoke. Beyond cooking, there is the weaving. This is perhaps the most significant and time-consuming task for Athenian women. You sit at an upright loom, often in a relatively private part of the house. though true privacy is a modern concept. The rhythmic asterisk thump dash thump asterisk of the heddles and the shuttle flying back and forth become the soundtrack of your day. Your fingers, agile and practiced, guide the threads, painstakingly creating the fabric for kittens, himatians, and blankets. The wool is coarse, sometimes greasy, leaving a lanolin scent on your hands. The linen is finer, but no less demanding. Your eyes strain in the dim light, especially during winter months or on cloudy days, as you work to maintain an even tension and pattern. Your back aches from sitting for hours, your shoulders grow stiff, and your fingers become raw from the constant manipulation of the rough fibers. This isn't a hobby. It's a vital economic activity, providing the clothing and textiles essential for your family's survival and status. The quality of your weaving reflects directly on your household's reputation. Water is a precious commodity, and fetching it is a daily, arduous chore, often performed by female slaves or the women of the house if no slaves are present. You carry heavy clay hydriae, often on your head or shoulder. Walking to the communal public fountain, the asterisk, clepsydra, asterisk, or asterisk, ENNEAKROUNOS, asterisk. The walk itself can be long, particularly if you live in the outer districts. The amphorae are heavy, and the journey back is a test of strength and balance. The water sloshing against the clay, threatening to spill. The feel of the rough clay handle cutting into your palm. The strain on your neck and back. The constant worry of tripping on the uneven ground. These are the sensations of water collection. The chatter at the fountain is a brief social respite, a chance to exchange gossip and news with other women, but the physical demand is relentless. This water is then used for cooking, drinking, and the occasional rudimentary washing. Washing itself is another monumental task. Clothes are not simply tossed into a machine. They are taken to a communal washing trough, often near a stream or a public bathhouse, where they are scrubbed by hand, using lye and abrasive earth, then rinsed and laid out to dry in the sun. The sheer physical effort of scrubbing, wringing, and carrying wet, heavy fabric is immense. Your hands become raw, chafed by the harsh detergents and the constant friction. The sun bakes the clothes, but the process is slow, taking an entire day or more. This is why clothes are only washed infrequently, contributing to the pervasive smell of stale linen and body odor that clings to everyone. Children, of course, are also part of this tapestry of toil. Young boys, once past infancy, are expected to assist their fathers in their trades or on the farm, learning skills through observation and direct participation. They carry water, fetch tools, herd animals, and perform countless small tasks that contribute to the household's productivity. For girls, their education is entirely domestic, spent at their mother's side, learning the intricate arts of weaving, cooking, managing slaves, and overseeing the household, preparing them for their inevitable future as mistresses of their own asterisk, oikos asterisk. There is no childhood, as you understand it, no long, carefree period of play and formal schooling. Life demands participation from an early age, contributing to the collective survival. Their small hands, nimble fingers, and growing strength are put to use, guided by the watchful eyes of their parents. And then there are the slaves. For those Athenians fortunate enough to own them, slaves are the silent, constant engines of the household. Their labor frees the citizen woman from the most arduous chores, and allows the citizen man to pursue his craft, his farming, or his civic duties without constant distraction. Slaves, whether household domestics, artisans, or agricultural laborers, have no true oikos of their own. Their lives are entirely dictated by their owners, a perpetual cycle of work from pre-dawn to late night. You might hear the soft, subservient murmur of their voices, the rhythmic sounds of their work, the clatter of pots, the sweep of a broom made of twigs, the quiet grind of the quern as they move through your home, always present, always working, a constant reminder of the brutal hierarchy that underpins your society. Their presence is so ubiquitous that you barely register it. Yet their absence would plunge your life into immediate, unimaginable difficulty. They are an extension of your family's hands, an almost invisible workforce whose suffering ensures your stability. A stark contrast to the freedom you cherish as a citizen. The lack of specialized tools or efficient technology means that every task, from grinding grain to weaving cloth, from fetching water to building a wall, is immensely labor-intensive. There are no machines to lighten the load, no automated systems to streamline processes. Every single item in your home, every meal, every piece of clothing, every structure, is the result of direct human effort, sweat, and often pain. The day stretches long, punctuated by the relentless heat of the Athenian sun, the constant dust, and the ever-present drone of human and animal activity. Your body becomes accustomed to the ache, the fatigue, the calluses. Your mind, though it might occasionally wander to philosophical musings or political discussions if you are a citizen, is largely focused on the immediate, tangible tasks at hand. There is no escape from the rhythm of toil, for it is the very foundation of your existence, the bedrock upon which the glory of Athens is been, in an ironic twist, quite literally built. You feel the grit of the dust between your teeth, the stiffening of your muscles, the dull throb in your hands, and you simply continue, because there is no other choice. This is the routine, the monotonous, unyielding routine of survival and contribution to the oikos. The endless toil that fills every day from the earliest glimmer of dawn until the last embers fade once your morning tasks are underway, and with the women and slaves tending to the oikos, the agora beckons, for the male citizens, at least. It's not just a marketplace. It's the very nerve center of Athenian life, a sprawling, open space constantly alive with a cacophony of sounds, a vibrant tapestry of smells, and a jostling throng of humanity. As you step out of the narrow, unpaved alleyways of your residential district and head towards this bustling heart, the change is immediate and overwhelming. The air, already thick with dust, becomes even denser, kicked up by thousands of sandals and bare feet. You taste the grit on your tongue, feel it coating your throat. The sun, climbing higher, beats down relentlessly, baking the unshaded open space, making the air shimmer with heat. You navigate the labyrinthine streets, their surfaces uneven and treacherous, dodging donkey carts laden with goods, the casual streams of wastewater running in open channels, and the milling crowds already populating the narrower The smells are intense, assaulting your senses in a dizzying array. There's the pungent aroma of unwashed bodies, the acrid scent of animal dung, the faint sweetness of fermenting wine, the savory waft of roasting meat from a street vendor's stall, the metallic temps of fresh fish, the earthy smell of grains and spices, and always, pervading everything, the dry, mineral scent of dust and sun-baked earth. This isn't a sanitized, compartmentalized shopping experience. This is a full-body immersion in the raw, unfiltered essence of city life. As you approach the agora itself, the sounds swell into an almost unbearable roar. The shouts of vendors hawking their wares, fresh olives. Get your olives here. Lentils. Best lentils in Attica. Mingle with the braying of donkeys, the bleating of sheep being herded through the square, the incessant chatter of hundreds of conversations, the arguments of merchants, the high-pitched cries of children. You hear the rhythmic asterisk clink dash clink asterisk of a money changer's scales, the low murmur of political debate emanating from a stoa, the occasional thud of goods being unloaded. It's a constant, pulsing hum of human activity, a living, breathing entity that never truly quiets. There's no background music, no subtle advertising jingles. Just the raw, unfiltered symphony of commerce and community. You push your way through the crowds, a sea of faces, bodies, and voices. You're rubbing shoulders with everyone, fellow citizens in their simple chitons and wealthy aristocrats identifiable by the finer weave of their cloaks and the presence of personal slaves. Foreign merchants in distinctive garb, grizzled farmers from the surrounding countryside, bustling slaves carrying amphorae or baskets. The sheer diversity of humanity is staggering, yet everyone is bound by the common purpose of buying, selling, or simply existing within this vibrant space. You feel the press of bodies against you, the accidental brushes of rough wool, the occasional jostle from an unyielding shoulder. Personal space, as you understand it, is a luxury unheard of. You are constantly in contact with others, a permanent part of the collective human mass. Your primary purpose in the agora might be practical, to purchase foodstuffs for your family's dinner. You head towards the area where the produce sellers are congregated. You examine the vegetables, running your fingers over the rough skin of onions, the firm surface of gourds. You smell the earthy scent of fresh dug root vegetables, the pungent aroma of garlic. You haggle over prices, a ritualistic dance of offer and counter-offer, trying to secure the best deal for your meager drachmas. The weight of the coin in your palm, its cold metallic feel, is a tangible representation of your daily labor, a constant reminder of its value and the struggle to acquire it. The scales used by the merchants are simple, often imprecise, and you watch them keenly, suspecting every merchant of trying to cheat you by a few grams. There's no supermarket shelf here, no standardized packaging, no fixed prices. Every transaction is a negotiation, a personal engagement. You might stop at the fish market, another sensory explosion. The metallic temps of fresh fish, mixed with the sharp, almost ammoniac smell of older catches, assaults your nostrils. Flies buzz incessantly around the exposed slabs of seafood. You poke and prod the fish, checking for freshness, the cold, slimy texture against your finger a testament to its recent capture. You bargain fiercely, knowing that a good meal of fish is a treat, a welcome break from the monotonous barley. The guttural shouts of the fishmongers, their voices hoarse from hours of shouting, add to the pervasive noise, but the agora is more than just a place of commerce. It is the social and political heart of the city. As you make your purchases, you also keep an ear open for news, for gossip, for the latest political developments. You might linger near a stoa, a long colonnaded building offering shade, where philosophers debate, where citizens gather to discuss the affairs of the asterisk polis asterisk. You listen to the intricate arguments about democracy, justice, and the nature of the gods. You feel the intellectual energy, the fierce engagement with ideas that defines Athenian citizen life, even as your own day-to-day existence is far removed from such lofty pursuits. You might contribute a comment, a short observation, asserting your right as a citizen to participate in these discussions, even if you are not a renowned orator or a brilliant thinker. The ability to speak and be heard in this public forum is a cherished privilege. You might encounter an old friend, pausing to exchange pleasantries, discuss family, or complain about the rising cost of barley. These interactions are vital, providing the social fabric of your life. There are no phones, no quick texts, no social media updates. Your social connections are forged in person through these direct, face-to-face encounters. You might observe a group of young men engaged in lively, boisterous conversation, their voices carrying above the din, their energy a stark contrast to your own weariness. You might see a politician holding court, surrounded by a small throng of admirers and hopeful petitioners, his voice resonating with practiced theatricality. The threat of pickpockets and petty thieves is ever present. You keep your hand on your small purse, feeling the reassuring weight of the few coins within. There's no police force as you know it, no uniformed officers patrolling the streets. Justice is often rough, immediate, and administered by the community itself. You navigate with a cautious awareness, your senses heightened, constantly aware of your surroundings, the jostle of the crowd, the hands that might reach out too close. The smell of fear, or at least heightened vigilance, is a subtle undercurrent beneath the other. More dominant aromas, you might seek refuge from the relentless sun in the shade of a leaning against one of its cool marble columns, feeling the smooth, polished stone against your rough chiton. Here, the noise is slightly muted, the air a little cooler, offering a brief respite from the sensory assault of the open square. You might watch a public announcement being posted, a scribe meticulously carving letters into a stone stele, or nailing a papyrus scroll to a wooden board, detailing new laws, decrees, or upcoming religious festivals. You strain your eyes to read the Greek script, picking out familiar words, trying to grasp the meaning of official pronouncements that will impact your life, but which are often presented in a dry, bureaucratic language. Your stomach might rumble, reminding you of the meager breakfast and the long hours until dinner. You might buy a small snack from a street vendor, a piece of honey cake, a handful of dried figs, or a simple barley cake. The sweet stickiness of the honey, the fibrous texture of the figs, the dry earthiness of the barley, these are simple pleasures, enjoyed quickly and without fuss, providing a temporary boost of energy to carry you through the remaining hours of your day. You chew slowly, savoring the flavors, knowing that such small treats are rare indulgences. As the sun climbs past its zenith, casting long shadows across the agora, the heat becomes almost unbearable. The dust hangs heavy in the air, creating a hazy, golden glow. Your throat is dry, parched from the constant talking, the dusty air, and the oppressive heat. You yearn for a cool drink of water, knowing you'll have to wait until you return home, or seek out a public fountain, another minor detour and effort. The sheer physical toll of existing in this environment is immense. You feel the sweat dripping down your back, the stickiness of your clothes against your skin, the ache in your legs from hours of standing and walking. Your head might throb faintly from the constant noise and the unrelenting sun. You conclude your purchases, your small basket or net bag now filled with the necessities for your family's evening meal. The weight of the goods in your hands is a tangible reminder of your responsibility, your contribution to the asterisk, oikos asterisk. You begin the journey back home, retracing your steps through the now slightly less chaotic, but still bustling, streets. The sounds begin to fade, The smells become less intense as you leave the agora's magnetic pull behind. But the experience of the agora lingers. It's not just a place of transaction. It's where you assert your identity as a citizen, where you connect with your community, where you gather information, and where you briefly escape the monotony of your trade or household. It's dirty, loud, crowded, and often frustrating, but it is also the vibrant, beating heart of your world, a constant reminder that you are part of something larger, a participant in the grand, if often gritty, experiment of Athenian democracy. You carry not just your provisions, but a fresh set of observations, a new piece of gossip, a renewed sense of the city's pulse, all to be shared, perhaps, during the evening meal. The dust, however, you carry everywhere, a permanent part of your Athenian skin, a testament to the daily pilgrimage, to the dusty heartbeat of your existence. Asterisk, as the long day wears on, and the sun begins its slow descent, painting the dusty Athenian sky in hues of orange and purple. Your thoughts inevitably turn to the evening meal. This isn't a modern anticipation of a diverse culinary experience, a choice between countless cuisines or a quick takeout order. No, your expectation is far more modest, deeply ingrained in the austere realities of ancient life. The evening meal, the asterisk, deep non-asterisk, is typically the most substantial of the day. But substantial in ancient Athens means something entirely different from what you might imagine. It means sustenance, fuel for tomorrow's toil, and little else for the women and slaves in your asterisk, oikos asterisk. The preparations for this meal have been ongoing for hours, if not most of the day. You, as the head of the household, might have brought back lentils, a few vegetables, or some fish from the agora. The grinding of grain, a constant and arduous task, will have already produced the barley flour that forms the basis of almost every meal. You might still hear the rhythmic scrape of the quern from the kitchen area, a testament to the relentless effort required to even begin preparing food. The air inside your home is thick with the mingled scents of simmering pottage, wood smoke from the hearth, and the earthy aroma of roasted vegetables. Your kitchen is not a separate room with gleaming countertops and sophisticated appliances. It's often just a corner of the main courtyard or a small, cramped room off the central living space, dominated by a simple hearth. There's no oven, no stove, no refrigerator. Cooking is done over an open fire, using clay pots, simple spits, and flat griddles. The heat emanating from the hearth is intense, particularly in summer, adding to the general discomfort of the house. You witness your wife or slaves hunched over the fire, their faces flushed from the heat, their eyes watering from the smoke, meticulously stirring, turning, and tending to the food. The flickering firelight casts dancing shadows on the rough mud brick walls, creating a primal scene that has played out for millennia. The main dish for most Athenian families of modest means is asterisk, mazer asterisk, a simple barley cake or gruel. Forget the refined wheat bread you might enjoy. Barley is the staple, cheaper, hardier, and more common. The asterisk, mazer asterisk, is often prepared by mixing barley flour with water and perhaps a little olive oil, then either baking it on a hot stone or griddle or boiling it into a thick porridge. You know its bland, earthy tastes intimately. It is your daily bread, your essential calorie source. Its texture is coarse, often a little gritty, a reminder of the rudimentary milling process. You will eat it with your hands, breaking off pieces to scoop up other dishes. Alongside the asterisk, maza asterisk, there will be lentils, stewed into a thick, hearty Lentils are a cornerstone of the Athenian diet, providing much-needed protein and fiber. The pottage is savory, flavored with onions, garlic, and wild herbs gathered from the nearby hillsides. Thyme, oregano, savory. The aroma of these herbs, pungent and evocative, is one of the few real pleasures of your daily diet. You feel the warmth of the pottage in your belly, its consistency thick and satisfying, providing a sense of fullness that is often elusive. The taste is repetitive, yes, but it is also dependable, a source of comfort in its familiarity. Vegetables are another essential component. Depending on the season, you might have cabbage, onions, leeks, cucumbers, or gourds. These are often boiled, stewed, or eaten raw if fresh. The crunch of a raw cucumber, the sharp bite of an onion, the slightly bitter taste of greens. These are the nuances that add a subtle variety to your otherwise monotonous meals. You might also have olives, brined and intensely salty, providing a burst of flavor that cuts through the blandness of the barley. You chew them slowly, savoring the salty brine, the richness of the olive oil that clings to your fingers. Meat is a rarity, a luxury reserved for religious festivals, sacrifices, or the very wealthy. You don't expect it, don't dream of a steak or roasted chicken. When it does appear, usually in the form of goat or lamb, it's a cause for celebration, a moment when the entire family gathers with heightened anticipation. The smell of roasting meat is intoxicating, a primal scent that rarely graces your hearth. Even then, it's often tough, sinewy, and boiled or simply seared over the open flames, not cooked with the precision and tenderness you're used to. Every morsel is savored, every scrap devoured, because you know it might be weeks or months before you taste meat again. Fish, however, is more common, especially for those living closer to the sea or with access to the fish market. If you manage to acquire some from the agora, it will be prepared simply, often grilled over the coals or boiled, seasoned with salt and herbs. The fresh, briny taste of the sea is a welcome change from the earthy flavors of your usual diet. You pick apart the bones with your fingers, carefully extracting every piece of flesh, ensuring nothing is wasted. The oil from the fish coats your lips, a rich, fatty sensation that is deeply satisfying. Salt is your primary seasoning, and olive oil is your fat. Every dish is seasoned with salt, its crystalline bite enhancing the natural flavors. Olive oil, pressed from the olives grown in the surrounding groves, is omnipresent. It's used for cooking, dressing, and even as a source of light. You taste its peppery, earthy notes in almost everything you eat, a fundamental flavor of your existence. There are no exotic spices from distant lands, no complex sauces. Simplicity and utility are the hallmarks of your cuisine. Water is your primary drink, collected from the public fountain and stored in large amphorae. It's often cool, sometimes with a faint mineral taste, but always refreshing after a long, hot day. You drink it from a simple clay cup, feeling the rough texture of the earthenware against your lips. Wine, usually diluted with water, is also a common beverage, particularly for men during social gatherings like symposia, but also at home. It's a harsh, potent drink, often resonated with a strong, earthy flavor that bears little resemblance to the refined wines of today. You sip it slowly, feeling its warmth spread through your body, a brief escape from the day's fatigue. The dilution with water is not just a custom, it's a necessity, as undiluted wine is considered barbaric. The family gathers for the meal. often sitting on low stools or reclining on simple couches if you are wealthier, though for most, it's just sitting on the floor around a low table. There are no individual plates or cutlery. Food is served on large platters or in common bowls, and everyone eats with their hands. You reach into the communal dish, scooping up pottage with a piece of maza asterisk, or tearing off a piece of bread to dip in olive oil. The act of eating is communal, shared, a fundamental bonding ritual. You feel the warmth of your family around you, the subtle sounds of chewing, the occasional murmur of conversation. Conversation during the meal is not always light-hearted. It's a time for the family to discuss the day's events, for the father to instruct his sons, for the mother to oversee the children. Political discussions might arise. Based on what you overheard in the agora, there might be complaints about a neighbor or worries about the next harvest. The tone is often serious, reflecting the constant anxieties of survival and the responsibilities of family. There's no background television, no music, no distractions. The focus is entirely on the food, the family, and the realities of your shared life. The sensory experience of eating is visceral. You feel the texture of the rough barley, the slippery lentils, the crispness of raw vegetables. You taste the salt, the earthiness of the oil, the pungency of herbs. The flavors are strong, unrefined, and deeply satisfying in their simplicity. There's no subtle layering of tastes, no delicate presentation. It's food that nourishes, that sustains, that fills the emptiness in your stomach and gives you the strength to face another demanding day. You eat until you are full, until the gnawing hunger is appeased, because you know that waste is not an option, and the next meal is many long hours away. After the meal, scraps are carefully collected, perhaps fed to household animals or given to slaves. Nothing is wasted. The simple clay dishes are scraped clean and rinsed with water, then left to air dry. There's no dishwasher, no endless supply of clean plates. Each piece of earthenware is valued, carefully handled, and reused countless times. The cleanup, like the preparation, is a labor-intensive process, usually performed by the women or slaves, further reinforcing the gendered division of labor within the *oikos, *. As the last embers of the fire die down, and the smell of the meal slowly dissipates, replaced by the omnipresent scent of wood smoke and stale air, you feel a deep, pervasive weariness. The meal, though simple, has replenished your energy, but the physical demands of the day have taken their toll. You might sit for a while, perhaps sharing a story, or simply enjoying the quiet company of your family, the shared intimacy of the hearth. This is your life's rhythm, a cycle of hard work and simple sustenance, a constant negotiation with the demands of nature and society. The monotony of your diet, while perhaps boring to a modern palate, is a comfort in its predictability, a fundamental element of your existence in a world where uncertainty often looms large. You have eaten, you are full, and for this moment you are content, preparing for the quiet end of another long, hard day in ancient Athens, as the sun begins its ascent, casting long, stark shadows across the dusty streets of Athens. The routine for the young boys of citizen families takes a different path, distinct from the household chores of their mothers and sisters. For you, a boy of 7 or 8, your formal education, rudimentary as it is, begins. But don't imagine hushed classrooms filled with desks and a stern teacher at a blackboard. This is ancient Athens, and your schooling is a far grittier, more communal, and often more physically demanding affair. Your school is likely a small, unadorned room in a private house, often rented by a grammatists, a teacher of letters. The journey there is a walk through the already bustling streets, your bare feet or simple sandals kicking up dust, dodging donkeys and early morning vendors. You hear the same cacophony that defines adult life: shouts, braying animals, the general hum of the waking city. You might walk with other boys from your neighborhood, jostling and chattering, your voices high-pitched and full of youthful energy that will soon be curbed by the day's lessons. Upon arrival, you enter a dim, often stuffy room. There are no individual desks, no comfortable chairs. You sit on low stools, or perhaps directly on the hard-packed earth floor, huddled together with other boys, ranging in age from 7 to 14. The air is thick with the smell of unwashed bodies, the faint scent of charcoal, and the dry, papery smell of scrolls. The light, filtering in from a single high window or the open doorway, is often insufficient, forcing you to squint at the materials. Your teacher, the grammatists, is likely a man of modest means, perhaps a failed politician or a retired soldier, whose livelihood depends on the small fees paid by your parents. He sits on a slightly elevated stool, often holding a long switch or cane, a constant, tangible threat of corporal punishment that hangs in the air, a very real motivator for attention and good behavior. The sting of the cane on your bare legs or palms is a familiar, painful sensation etched into your memory. This isn't a nurturing environment. It's a disciplinary one, focused on rote memorization and obedience. Your lessons revolve around 3 core subjects: letters, grammata, music, mausaik, and physical training, gymnastic, In the morning, you focus on letters. You learn to read and write using wax tablets and styluses. The scratching sound of dozens of styluses on wax is a persistent background noise, a rhythmic rasp that fills the small room. You painstakingly carve out the Greek alphabet, then simple words, then short sentences. The wax is soft, yielding, but difficult to master, and your fingers often ache from the effort of gripping the stylus correctly. You practice endlessly, copying passages from Homer, the Iliad, and the Odyssey, your young mind, struggling to comprehend the complex poetry and archaic language. These epic poems are not just stories. They are the bedrock of Greek identity, morality, and history. You memorize long passages, chanting them aloud in unison with your classmates, your voices rising and falling in a monotonous drone. The repetition is mind-numbing, but effective. You feel the weight of the wax tablet in your lap, the fine dust of wax clinging to your fingers, the constant demand for precision in forming each letter. The teacher's voice, booming or sharp, correcting errors, demanding more effort, is a constant presence. Arithmetic is also taught, but it is rudimentary, focused on practical applications like counting goods, making change, and calculating simple measurements. There's no abstract mathematics, no complex algebra. It's the arithmetic of the marketplace, the farmer, the craftsman, essential for navigating the daily realities of Athenian life. You learn by rote, memorizing multiplication tables, counting on your fingers and toes, performing simple sums in your head. The challenge is in the memory, the speed, the practical application. After a brief, unappetizing midday meal, perhaps a piece of barley bread and some olives, brought from home, your day shifts to music. You learn to play the lyre, a simple stringed instrument, or the asterisk aulos asterisk, a double reed pipe. The sound of dozens of lyres being plucked discordantly, or asterisk aulos asterisk pipes emitting mournful reedy notes, fills the air. A cacophony that would drive a modern ear to distraction. You learn to sing choruses, to recite poetry with musical accompaniment. Music is considered vital for civic education, fostering harmony, discipline, and an appreciation for beauty, though your own efforts at mastering the instrument often feel clumsy and unmusical, your fingers stumbling over the strings, your breath control lacking for the pipe. The teacher, perhaps a kitharist or a leets, demonstrates, his nimble fingers and practiced breath creating the melodic sounds you aspire to, but rarely achieve. The afternoon, particularly for boys from more affluent families, is dedicated to asterisk, gymnastic asterisk, physical training. This takes place in the asterisk, palestra, asterisk, an open-air wrestling school, or the larger asterisk, gymnasium asterisk. You shed your kitten, exposing your bare skin to the sun and air, and engage in a variety of exercises designed to build strength, agility, and discipline. You run, wrestle, jump, and throw the discus and javelin, the dusty ground underfoot, the rough feel of other boys' skin as you grapple in wrestling, the exertion that makes your muscles burn and your lungs ache. These are the sensations of physical education. The smell of sweat, dust, and olive oil used by wrestlers to make themselves slippery is pervasive. Your body aches, your breath comes in ragged gasps, but there's a primal satisfaction in testing your physical limits, in the camaraderie of shared exertion, and in the approving nod of the asterisk padatribes, asterisk, the physical trainer. This is not about winning. It's about building a strong, disciplined body, fit for military service and the demands of citizen life, for boys from poorer families. This formal physical training might be less extensive or even non-existent, replaced instead by the rigorous physical demands of their father's trade or farm work. Their bodies are hardened by labor, not by structured exercise, but the outcome is often the same: a lean, tough physique, accustomed to exertion. For girls, the path is entirely different and far less formal. There is no asterisk grammatists asterisk, no asterisk palestra asterisk. Your education, if you are a girl, is entirely domestic, conducted within the confines of the asterisk oikos asterisk, under the watchful eye of your mother or female slaves. You learn the essential skills of household management, spinning wool, weaving cloth, cooking, cleaning, caring for younger siblings, managing the slaves if your family owns them. Your curriculum is practical, focused entirely on preparing you for your future role as the mistress of your own household. Responsible for its smooth and efficient functioning, you learn to spin wool. The rhythmic hum of the spindle, the fine fibers slipping through your fingers, gradually transforming into thread. You spend countless hours at the loom, your back aching, your fingers nimble, painstakingly weaving chitons and hermatians, blankets and shrouds. You learn to grind grain, to fetch water, to prepare meals, to manage the precious resources of the home. You learn about herbs and their medicinal properties, about managing illness, about birth and death. Your world is circumscribed, largely private, focused on the inner workings of the home. There is no public discourse for you, no political debates, no philosophical discussions. Your wisdom is practical, domestic, passed down from mother to daughter through generations of lived experience, while few elite girls might learn basic reading and writing. Perhaps for managing household accounts, this is exceptional. Most Athenian women remain illiterate, their knowledge transmitted orally and through direct observation and practice. Their education is experiential, visceral, driven by the immediate needs of survival and the perpetuation of the family unit. Their hands, like their mothers before them, become adept at the domestic arts, their minds focused on the intricate logistics of running a household with minimal resources for both boys and girls. The concept of a childhood as you understand it, a period of carefree play and protection, is largely absent. Children are viewed as miniature adults, expected to contribute to the household economy and learn the skills necessary for their adult roles from an early age. Play, when it occurs, is informal, unstructured, simple games with pebbles, sticks, or small clay dolls. But it is always secondary to the serious business of learning, working, and surviving as the day ends. And you, as a young boy, make your way back home from the asterisk palestra, asterisk or the asterisk grammatists, asterisk house. Your body aches, your mind is tired from memorization, and your voice might be hoarse from chanting. You carry your wax tablet, perhaps a scroll, and the weight of another day's lessons. For girls, the ache is in their hands and back from hours at the loom or grinding grain, their minds filled with the practical details of household management. The boring routine of learning, or the lack thereof, has filled your day, shaping your body and mind for the roles you are destined to play in the rigid structure of Athenian society. You are being molded, bit by bit, into a citizen if male or a wife if female, a functional component of the asterisk polis asterisk and the asterisk oikos asterisk, the grand, dusty, and demanding machine of ancient Athens. The relentless rhythm of daily toil in ancient Athens could occasionally, mercifully, be broken by moments of leisure. But don't imagine your modern concept of downtime binge-watching shows, scrolling through social media, or indulging in elaborate hobbies. Athenian diversions were fewer, simpler, and often deeply intertwined with social or religious customs, requiring significant effort in themselves. They were fleeting moments, cherished precisely because of their rarity, providing a necessary, if often exhausting, escape from the mundane. For male citizens, the most common and valued form of social diversion was the asterisk symposium asterisk. This was a drinking party, but not a raucous, drunken brawl. It was a highly ritualized affair, typically held in the asterisk andron, the men's quarters of a private home. You, invited by a friend or a social acquaintance, would arrive in the late afternoon or early evening, after the day's work was done and the main meal, the asterisk deepnon asterisk, had been consumed. As you enter the asterisk andron, the room immediately envelops you in a sensory cloud distinct from the everyday. The air is warm, thick with the scent of wine, olive oil from the lamps, fragrant incense, and the mingled aromas of food and men. There's no bright overhead lighting. Instead, the room is illuminated by flickering oil lamps, casting dancing shadows on the plastered walls, creating an intimate, atmospheric glow. You hear the low murmur of conversation, the clinking of cups, and the melodic strains of a lyre or asterisk aulos asterisk, being played by a hired musician or one of the guests. You recline on an asterisk clincene, a long, low couch, typically arranged in a U-shape around the room. These couches are hard, often topped with thin cushions, requiring you to find a comfortable position among your fellow revelers. You lean on your left elbow, your body angled towards the center of the room, your legs stretched out. The rough wool of your chiton might prickle your skin as you settle in. There's no soft armchair or plush sofa here. Comfort is relative and often secondary to the social interaction. The focus of the symposium is wine, always mixed with water in a large crater mixing bowl, presided over by a symposiarch who dictates the ratio of wine to water. You sip from a shallow clay kylix feeling the smooth, cool earthenware against your lips. The wine itself is potent, often resonated with a harsh, earthy flavor that is an acquired taste. You feel its warmth spreading through your body, loosening your inhibitions, easing the tension of the day. The act of drinking is communal, shared, a ritual that fosters camaraderie and lively discussion. But the symposium is not just about drinking. It's a forum for intellectual discourse, for philosophical debate, for the recitation of poetry, for singing songs, and for playing simple party games like *KOTTABOS*, where you flick wine dregs at a target. You participate, offering your opinions on topics ranging from politics to ethics, from the nature of love to the latest city gossip. Your words, fueled by wine, become bolder, your thoughts more expansive. You listen intently to others, learning, debating, challenging. The air vibrates with intellectual energy, with the clash of ideas. A welcome antidote to the physical demands and mental monotony of your daily work. The sound of laughter, robust and uninhibited, fills the room, a joyous contrast to the day's seriousness. A musician might play the lyre, its gentle plucking notes creating a soothing backdrop, or the piercing, reedy sound of the aloes might accompany a sung ode. Sometimes a professional entertainer, a cultured courtesan, might be present, adding an element of sophisticated charm, engaging in witty conversation, or performing music and dance. Her presence, her beauty, her intellect are a rare indulgence, a glimpse into a world of refined pleasure that is far removed from your everyday existence. That the atmosphere is one of relaxed conviviality, but also of subtle competition, as men vie for intellectual dominance or to tell the most engaging story. You feel the subtle shifts in power dynamics, the unspoken rules of social engagement. It's a performance as much as a pleasure, a demonstration of your education, your wit, and your social standing. The conversation can be profound or utterly trivial, often weaving between both extremes, reflecting the complex and multifaceted nature of human interaction. For women, however, the symposium is almost entirely off. Their leisure is far more restricted, centered around the oikos. Their social interactions are primarily with other women, often at the public fountains while collecting water, or during religious festivals. Their diversions are typically communal domestic activities like spinning and weaving, which, while productive labor, could also be occasions for storytelling, gossip, and the shared comfort of female company. You might gather with female relatives or neighbors in the courtyard, the rhythmic hum of spindles and looms providing a backdrop to conversations about children, household management, or the latest rumors. The warmth of female companionship, the shared understanding of their circumscribed lives, is a powerful bond. Religious festivals provide a more widespread form of diversion for both men and women, though still with gender-segregated roles. These festivals, dedicated to various gods and goddesses, punctuate the Athenian calendar, offering breaks from work and opportunities for communal celebration. You might participate in a procession, walking through the streets of Athens, adorned in your finest, which is still quite simple, carrying offerings to a temple. The smell of incense, the chanting of hymns, the sight of elaborate sacrifices, these are powerful sensory experiences that elevate you beyond the mundane. You witness the dramatic performances in the theatre of Dionysus during the Lenaea or the Great Dionysia. This is a truly profound experience. You sit on the hard stone benches of the open-air theatre, often for an entire day, exposed to the elements, packed tightly among thousands of fellow citizens. You feel the collective excitement, the palpable anticipation. The actors, masked and costumed, perform tragedies and comedies, exploring timeless themes of human suffering, ambition, justice, and folly. You hear their booming voices, amplified by the theatre's acoustics, the rich language of Sophocles, Euripides, or Aristophanes resonating in your ears. You laugh, you cry, you feel the catharsis of shared emotion. This isn't passive entertainment. It's a deep, communal engagement with your culture, your myths, your shared identity. The stories are familiar, but their retelling is always fresh, always powerful. The sun beats down on your head, the stone grows hard beneath you, but the immersive power of the drama transcends physical discomfort, offering a profound escape from the daily grind. Athletic contests, particularly the Pan-Athenic Games held every 4 years, offer another form of communal diversion. You might attend as a spectator, watching young men compete in races, wrestling, boxing, and equestrian events. The roar of the crowd, the shouts of encouragement, the sight of finely honed bodies striving for victory, these are exhilarating experiences. You feel a sense of civic pride, of shared identity, as you cheer on your fellow Athenians. The dust, the sweat, the sheer physical exertion of the athletes are palpable, a visceral reminder of the Greek ideal of physical excellence. Simple games also provided small moments of diversion. Children might play with knuckle bones, hoops, or simple dolls. Adults might play board games like Patea, a strategy game similar to checkers or dice games, often with small wagers. These are played in homes, in taverns, or in public spaces, offering quiet moments of mental engagement and social interaction. You might feel the smooth, cool texture of the knuckle bones in your hand, the satisfying click as they land. Even a visit to the barber or the public baths could be a social diversion. Barbershops were places where men gathered to discuss news and gossip. The baths, while primarily for hygiene, though a rudimentary version compared to modern standards, also served as social centers. You might feel the warm water shared with many others, a rare moment of bodily comfort, even if the water is not perfectly clean. You might engage in conversation, share jokes, and feel a sense of camaraderie with your fellow bathers. The smell of the public baths, a mixture of warm water, sweat, and perhaps a little incense, is a distinct aroma of shared experience. These fleeting diversions, whether the intellectual stimulation of a symposium, the emotional release of a tragedy, or the communal joy of a festival, are not frequent occurrences. They are precious interludes, hard-earned breaks in a life dominated by relentless work and the pragmatic concerns of survival. They provide the necessary mental and emotional respite, allowing you to return to your monotonous routine with renewed, albeit temporary, vigor. They remind you of the richer tapestry of Athenian life, the ideals and aspirations that lie beneath the grime and sweat of everyday existence. You cherish these moments, savoring them in your memory, for they are the brief flashes of light in an otherwise consistently challenging and unglamorous world. Returning home as the sun dips lower, casting long, distorted shadows across the narrow, unpaved streets, you are re-entering a world of close quarters and rudimentary comfort. Your Athenian home, your oikos asterisk, is a stark contrast to the spacious, climate-controlled dwellings of modern times. It is a testament to practicality, economy, and the communal nature of life in the ancient polis asterisk. Your house is likely a humble affair, constructed from sun-dried mud bricks, adobe or wattle and daub, a framework of interwoven branches coated with mud and clay. The walls are thick, providing some insulation against the brutal summer heat and the occasional chill of winter. But they are unplastered on the interior for most, leaving the rough, earthy texture exposed. You might occasionally feel the grit of the walls against your hand as you lean, a constant reminder of the building's raw construction. There's no fancy wallpaper, no smooth painted surfaces, just the earthy tones of the natural materials. The layout is simple, functional, designed around a central open-air courtyard or all. This courtyard is the heart of your home, admitting light and air, and often serving as the primary work area for women and slaves during the day. As you step from the street, you pass through a single, sturdy wooden door, no elaborate entryways here, and immediately feel the shift in atmosphere. The street noise, while still audible, is slightly muted, and the air, though still dusty, feels a fraction cooler. A subtle sanctuary from the public clamor. Most rooms are small, dark, and often windowless, or with only small, high openings to discourage intruders and maintain privacy. These windows are unglazed, often covered with a simple wooden shutter or a piece of cloth to keep out the elements. Consequently, the interior is perpetually dim, even during the brightest part of the day. You move through a world of perpetual twilight indoors, your eyes constantly adjusting. Lamps, fueled by olive oil, are a precious commodity, used sparingly, casting a flickering, smoky light that barely penetrates the gloom, filling the air with the faint smell of burnt oil and soot. You often stumble in the semi-darkness, your shins barking against unseen objects. The floors are typically hard-packed earth, sometimes covered with a layer of crushed pebbles or a simple straw mat. There are no carpets, no polished wooden floors. You feel the cool, unyielding earth beneath your bare feet, its uneven surface a constant tactile sensation. In winter, this earth floor radiates a persistent chill, adding to the pervasive discomfort. In summer, it offers a slight coolness, a fleeting respite from the stifling heat. Furniture is sparse and functional. You might have a few low stools for sitting, a simple wooden table for meals, and the the long, low couches used for reclining during meals or social gatherings, which also often double as beds. These are hard, rigid frames, often woven with rope or leather straps, and topped with thin mattresses stuffed with straw or wool. There are no plush sofas, no deep armchairs, no comforting You shift and adjust, trying to find a comfortable position, but true ease is elusive. Storage is rudimentary. A few wooden chests or large ceramic jars, *petoi, to hold grain, oil, or personal belongings. Clothes are often simply folded or hung on pegs. Your possessions are few, utilitarian, and carefully guarded. Privacy, as you understand it, is a luxury almost entirely unknown. The rooms are not distinct, sealed-off spaces. Doors, if they exist at all, are often simple wooden panels that don't fully close, offering little soundproofing. You hear everything: the rustle of your wife on her sleeping mat, the whimpering of a child, the murmur of slaves, the distant sounds from your neighbors' homes. Your life is lived in constant awareness of others. A communal existence where personal space is a concept alien to your experience. The sounds of your family, your neighbors, and the constant hum of the city permeate your home, blurring the line between your private thoughts and the public sphere. Sanitation is, by modern standards, non-existent. There are no indoor toilets, no plumbing systems. Waste is collected in chamber pots, which are then emptied into cesspits, or perhaps simply thrown into the street, contributing to the pervasive foul odors that cling to certain parts of the city. The smell of human waste, though often masked by other aromas, is a subtle, ever-present undertone, particularly in the warmer months. You pinch your nose, avert your eyes, but the reality of poor sanitation is an undeniable part of your daily life. Water for drinking, cooking, and the rare bath is drawn from public fountains and stored in large bathoi or amphorae within the courtyard. This water is precious, carefully rationed, and always a logistical challenge to acquire and maintain. There's no easy access to a faucet, no endless supply of clean, running water. Every drop is earned through effort, a reminder of the fragility of your resources. The coolness of the water in the clay amphorae is a blessing in the heat, but the effort of fetching it is a daily burden. During the scorching Athenian summers, the house becomes an oven. The thick mud brick walls absorb the sun's heat during the day, slowly radiating it into the interior throughout the night, making sleep a fitful, sweaty affair. You toss and turn on your rough mat, your body slick with perspiration, yearning for a breath of cool air that rarely comes. In winter, the house offers little protection against the chill. The open hearth provides some warmth, but the smoke fills the room, stinging your eyes and catching in your throat. You huddle close to the fire, shivering, wrapping your rough wool himation tightly around you, longing for the return of spring. The lack of specialized rooms means that activities overlap. The main room serves as a living area, a dining room, and often a workspace for women who spin and weave there. The courtyard is a space for cooking, for tending to small household animals, and for children's play. There's no dedicated office, no separate recreation room, no private bedrooms in the modern sense. Life is lived in a fluid, multi-purpose space, constantly adapting to the needs of the moment. Despite these hardships, or perhaps because of them, your home is still your sanctuary, your oikos. It is the center of your family life, the place where you eat, sleep, raise your children, and find a measure of safety and belonging. It is a humble dwelling, far removed from the idealized marble temples that gleam on the Acropolis. Yet it is profoundly real, shaped by the demands of your environment and your society. You feel the rough texture of the walls, the cool earth floor, the dim, smoky air, and these sensations ground you in your reality. As evening deepens, and a few olive oil lamps flicker, casting their meager light, the sounds of the household settle into a softer hum. The children's voices grow quieter, the slaves' footsteps become less hurried. You might sit with your family, the flickering lamplight highlighting their faces, sharing the last moments of the day. The silence, though never absolute in a city like Athens, offers a brief respite, a moment of introspection before sleep claims you. Your home, for all its material deficiencies, is the bedrock of your existence, a physical manifestation of your place in the world, a constant reminder of the simple, unadorned, and often brutal realities of life in ancient Athens. It is not a place of luxury, but it is your place, your haven from the public world, a space where the constant struggle for survival plays out in its most intimate form, while the women and slaves were tirelessly engaged in the monotonous work of the oikos. For you, a male Athenian citizen, your day could occasionally be punctuated by civic duties that were both a privilege and, at times, a burdensome obligation. Forget the modern concept of civic engagement as a choice or a simple act of voting. For you, it was an integral, often time-consuming, and physically demanding part of your identity and survival. These duties drew you out of the agora's commercial bustle and into the heart of Athenian political life, demanding your voice, your judgment, and your physical presence. The most significant of these duties was attending the assembly, the ecclesia. This was where all male citizens over the age of 18 could gather to debate and vote on laws, elect officials, and decide on matters of war and peace. Imagine, if you will, being called to participate in the highest form of direct democracy. But don't picture a comfortable auditorium or a climate-controlled chamber. The assembly met on the Nix, a small hill overlooking the agora, an open-air amphitheater carved out of the bedrock. The walk there, especially if you lived on the outskirts of the city, was a dusty trek, often in the scorching heat of the Athenian sun. You would join thousands of other citizens, all making their way up the dusty slopes. The air would thicken with the dust kicked up by thousands of sandals, the smell of unwashed bodies, and the nervous anticipation of debate as you arrive. You find a spot on the hard, unyielding stone benches. There are no individual seats, no cushions. You sit shoulder to shoulder with your fellow citizens, feeling the rough stone beneath you, the sun beating down mercilessly on your head. The Nix could accommodate thousands, and on important days it would be packed, creating a dense, hot, and noisy throng. The murmuring of the crowd is a constant hum, a living sound that shifts from quiet chatter to roaring agreement or dissent. The proceedings would begin. Orators, often prominent politicians like Pericles or Demosthenes, would address the assembly from the bema, a raised platform carved into the rock. You hear their voices, powerful and trained, echoing across the open space, carried by the breeze. Their rhetoric is not just about logic. It's about persuasion, about emotion, about captivating the attention of thousands of men, many of whom are farmers, craftsmen, or laborers, accustomed to direct language and clear arguments. You listen intently, straining to hear every word, trying to discern the truth amidst the oratorical flourishes. The wind might whip at their cloaks, carry their voices away, or bring them back with sudden force. The sunlight glares, making it difficult to focus. But you persist. You might be asked to vote on an issue of war, the lives of your fellow citizens, and the future of your city hanging in the balance. Or perhaps it's a new law impacting trade or property, or even an ostracism, where citizens would vote to banish an individual from Athens for 10 years, preventing them from becoming too powerful. For an ostracism, you would take a piece of broken pottery, an ostracon, and scratch the name of the man you wished to banish. You feel the rough, cool ceramic in your hand, the dry, gritty sensation as you scratch out the Greek letters, making a decision that could utterly change a man's life. The weight of that decision, that single shard of pottery, is immense. Voting was often done by a show of hands, or by dropping colored pebbles into urns for more sensitive issues. You raise your hand, feeling the muscle strain, your vote a tangible expression of your will. Or you drop your pebble, hearing the soft asterisk clink asterisk as it joins hundreds of others, a silent but powerful statement. The process is slow, deliberate, a stark contrast to the rapid-fire decision-making of modern governments. You are physically present, a direct participant, your body a part of the collective body politic. The debates could be long, stretching for hours under the unforgiving sun. Your throat becomes dry, your head aches, your back grows stiff from sitting on the stone. You might become restless, frustrated by verbose speakers or seemingly endless arguments. But you stay because this is your duty, your right, your power as a citizen. To leave would be to shirk your responsibility, to abandon your voice. The dust settles on your clothes, on your skin, a constant companion in your civic engagement beyond the assembly. You might be called to serve as a juror in the Athenian courts. The asterisk, dikosteria, asterisk. This was a frequent occurrence, as the Athenian legal system relied on large juries, sometimes numbering in the hundreds or even thousands. Imagine sitting on a jury of 501 citizens, or even more, hearing cases ranging from murder to property disputes to political corruption. Your jury duty would begin with a complex selection process, using a machine called an asterisk, clariterion asterisk, which randomly selected citizens. If chosen, you receive a bronze juror's ticket, a small, cold piece of metal that marks you as a participant in justice. You arrive at the courthouse, a large, often open-air structure, or a simple enclosure. Again, you sit on hard benches, packed tightly with your fellow jurors. The air is thick with the same human smells, the same dust, but also with the added tension of a legal proceeding. You listen to the accusers and the defendants, who often presented their own cases without the aid of professional lawyers. Their voices, often impassioned and theatrical, fill the air. They use rhetorical flourishes, appeal to your emotions, recount personal anecdotes, and cite laws. You hear the passionate arguments, the personal attacks, the pleas for mercy or justice. The evidence presented might be in the form of witness testimony, often delivered under oath, or written documents. There's no sophisticated forensic analysis, no intricate legal precedents as you understand them. It's often about character, reputation, and the power of persuasion. The cases could drag on for an entire day, from sunrise to sunset. You listen, your mind working to separate truth from rhetoric, to weigh the evidence, to apply the law as best you understand it. Your role is not just to ascertain facts, but to interpret the spirit of the law, to act as a moral compass for the community. The responsibility is immense, the weight of a man's fate often resting on your collective judgment. You feel the dull ache in your head from intense concentration, the weariness in your body from hours of stillness. When it came time to vote, you would receive 2 tokens, one solid, one hollow. You would deposit one into an urn for conviction, the other into an urn for acquittal, ensuring anonymity. You feel the smooth, cool token in your hand, the subtle difference in weight between the solid and hollow pieces. The finality of the asterisk clink asterisk as it drops into the urn is a chilling sound, marking the end of a man's freedom, or the restoration of his honor. These civic duties are not paid generously, if at all. For many, Taking a day off from their craft or farm to attend the assembly or serve on a jury meant a direct loss of income. This was part of the burden of citizenship, the price you paid for the privilege of self-governance. It reinforces the constant tension between your personal struggle for survival and your larger commitment to the polis. You grumble about the lost wages, about the boredom of long speeches, about the discomfort of the stone seats, but you go, because to not go is to diminish your status, to undermine the very system that defines your freedom, beyond the formal political and legal duties. Civic engagement also extended to religious festivals, which were often public holidays but also communal obligations. Participating in a grand procession for Athena, bringing offerings, or watching the athletic contests were all parts of your civic and religious identity, demanding your time and presence. You are not just an individual. You are a citizen, a member of a collective, and your life is intricately woven into the public fabric of the city. As you return home from a day at the Knicks or the courthouse, your body is tired, your mind perhaps buzzing with the arguments you heard, the decisions you made. The dust of the Knicks or the courthouse clings to your kitten, a physical mark of your civic participation. You feel the weight of responsibility, the pride of having played your part in the unique experiment of Athenian democracy, but also the sheer exhaustion of it all. It was not always glorious. Often it was just another long, boring, and demanding day, a heavy burden that you, as a male Athenian citizen, were expected to bear, a fundamental, unglamorous aspect of your daily existence, as the last vestiges of twilight fade from the dusty Athenian sky, painting the western horizon in deep indigo and velvet black. The city transforms. The vibrant, noisy clamor of the day slowly recedes, replaced by a different kind of symphony, the sounds of the night. This isn't the brightly lit, securely patrolled night of your modern world. This is ancient night, a vast, enveloping darkness punctuated by weak light, filled with unseen dangers and the quiet, persistent hum of insects and human anxieties. You have finished your simple evening meal, perhaps shared a quiet moment with your family around the dying embers of the hearth. The air inside your home grows cooler as the last heat of the day dissipates, and the wood smoke from the hearth, though diminished, still clings to the air, stinging your eyes faintly. Olive oil lamps, precious and sparingly used, cast a flickering, smoky light that barely illuminates your immediate surroundings. A single lamp might sit on a low table, its small flame dancing, pushing back against the encroaching gloom, but leaving the corners of the room in deep shadow. You feel the heavy, pervasive darkness pressing in from outside, a primal force that shapes your perception of safety and comfort. The streets outside become truly dangerous after nightfall. There are no streetlights as you know them, no glowing lampposts. The city plunges into near-total blackness, broken only by the occasional distant light from a wealthy home, or the faint glow of the moon or stars if the sky is clear. Walking through the unpaved, uneven streets in this darkness is an act of pure folly for most, an invitation to stumble, to be robbed, or worse. The concept of a leisurely evening stroll is utterly alien. If you must venture out, you would carry a small, handheld lantern, its meager glow barely illuminating the immediate path, leaving everything beyond in menacing shadow. You hear the scuttling of unseen rats, the distant barking of dogs, the eerie hoot of an owl, sounds that take on a heightened, threatening quality in the profound darkness within your home. The sounds of the city are still present, though muted. You hear the distant cries of night watchmen, perhaps a drunken shout from a nearby tavern, the occasional clatter of a passing donkey cart. But mostly, it's the sounds of your own household settling down, the soft rustle of straw as your family prepares their sleeping mats, the low murmur of conversation, the slow, steady breathing of those already asleep. There's no television, no radio, no electronic entertainment to fill the silence. Your evening is a quiet, domestic affair, focused on rest and preparation for the next day. Your bed, the simple woven mat on the hard earth floor, calls to you. Your body aches from the day's relentless toil, the pounding of the hammer, the strain of the plough, the endless walking, the hours spent grinding grain or weaving cloth. You crawl onto your mat, feeling the familiar roughness of the wool blanket, the slight unevenness of the straw beneath you. There's no luxurious pillow, just perhaps a rolled-up piece of cloth or a small, hard bolster. You shift, trying to find a position that eases the day's stiffness, the dull ache in your back, your shoulders. Your feet, sleep comes, not as a gentle descent into soft dreams, but often as a heavy, exhausted oblivion. Your sleep is frequently disturbed. The hard floor, the rough bedding, the insects, fleas, lice, bedbugs, that are an unavoidable part of your existence, all contribute to fitful rest. You might wake abruptly, scratching an itch, or stirring from a vivid, stress-induced dream. The fear of fire is ever present, a real danger in a city of close-packed mud brick and wooden homes, where cooking fires burn daily and lamps are easily overturned. The smell of smoke, even faint, can trigger a jolt of anxiety. You might wake to the cries of a child, restless in the close confines of the home, perhaps suffering from a fever or a bad dream. You comfort them, your voice a soft murmur in the darkness, your hand brushing their hot forehead. These are the intimate moments of family life, played out in the profound privacy of the night, away from the prying eyes and ears of the public world. You might lie awake for a while, your mind replaying the day's events, a harsh word from a neighbor, a successful negotiation in the agora, a worry about the harvest, a nagging doubt about a decision made in the assembly. These are the thoughts that haunt the quiet hours, the anxieties that accompany the struggle for survival. The cold of the pre-dawn hours can be biting, even in Athens. You pull your rough woolen blanket tighter, seeking warmth, feeling the rough fibers against your skin. You can hear the sounds of your neighbors, muffled by the thick walls, but still audible. A cough, a low moan, the distant sound of a baby crying. You are never truly alone, even in sleep. The city breathes around you, a collective organism of humanity, its rhythms echoing in your own home. As the first faint sliver of grey light begins to appear through your high, unglazed window, barely distinguishable from the darkness, you are aware that another day is about to begin. The roosters, those ancient alarm clocks, start their insistent crowing. The slaves in your household, always the first to stir, will already be moving, rekindling the hearth, preparing the meager breakfast. You feel the slow, grudging ascent from sleep, the familiar ache in your body, the dry taste in your mouth. The cycle, the boring routine, is about to start anew. There's no sense of anticipation for a fresh start, no excitement for new possibilities. There's only the quiet resignation to the inevitable repetition. You know exactly what the day will bring: the dust, the heat, the physical labor, the simple sustenance, the limited diversions. Your dreams, if you remember them, are often reflections of your waking life, the struggle, the simple pleasures, the anxieties. There's no grand escape in sleep, no vivid fantasies of a different life. Your existence is grounded in the hard reality of your present, and your dreams often echo that reality. You push the rough blanket aside, your feet finding the cool, dusty earth floor. The air is still heavy with the smells of night, stale charcoal, unwashed bodies, the lingering scent of old food. You stand, stretching slowly, feeling the protest of your muscles, preparing your body for another day of demands. As the faint light grows, and the sounds of the city begin to swell, you take a deep breath, steeling yourself for the inevitable. The night, with its dangers and its intimate moments of quiet reflection, has passed. The monotonous, unglamorous, yet utterly vital routine of ancient Athenian life is about to claim you once again, pulling you back into its relentless rhythm, day after day, year after year, until your own worn body can no longer sustain the effort. This is the unyielding cycle, the true heart of your existence in a world that, for all its grand ideas, demands constant, gritty effort from you.